I want us to compare right now two videos. These are two students of mine. One is a current student. His name's John. The other student was a new school student that I had, and I already showed you the video. But I just want us to watch both videos, and then this is like a group conversation we're having about these videos. So I'd like to literally hear as many thoughts and opinions about what they saw as possible. So don't go quiet on me, all right? Okay, so here we go. This is video 1. All right. Now let's watch this video.
Let's go, Cheyenne!
Alright, so what would you guys say? Anyone, like I want as many opinions as possible. Yes, Michael.
It feels like kind of like with that first one, like he's really using like the baby scratches to like his advantage. Like he's really like feeling how that vocal sort of like goes in and out and changes speed and things like that. Like he's
Okay.
working with the music.
Mhm.
And the second one, it kind of feels more like she's like forcing the music to do her thing. Like her stabs are so aggressive and there's such a rhythm to it. Like it's like the first one, the guy's working with the sound. The second one, she's making the sound kind of work for her.
So Cheyenne, Mike is saying she was making the sound work for her.
Here's the second one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. She was making the sound work for her. I like that. Romy.
I like how they both used, like, they were both scratching on a word, I think. I don't know if Cheyenne was, but
The first video, there was a word being scratched. There was like a,
like what?
yeah, what and a yo, I think.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
then the second one, like, she also used, it was like fresh or something.
And fresh.
Yeah, so I liked how they both, like, used the words and, like, did the release sometimes to, like, hear the full word.
So, releasing. Releasing the sound, which is a forward release. That would be the equivalent of putting an exclamation point at the end of a sentence. So you're emphasizing your phrasing or that sentence of scratching with that release at the end. Some of you guys do it, some of you guys don't. I do it almost every time. So it just helps complete what it is that I'm saying as a scratcher. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Any other things you want to point out about the videos that you saw, contrasting both of them? Teresa.
The first one, he's like really like
light on it, I feel like he's touching it with like pretty much just his middle finger and controlling it with that, and then Cheyenne kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like she like lets it go more and stuff, but she's like more like controlling, I don't know how to explain it.
So the word I would use, Teresa, is she's dominating the record more.
Yeah.
She's dominating the record more, all right? So you want to dominate the record, man. That's super important. If you're driving a car and you want to make a right turn, whether you realize it or not, you focus more because you know you're about to make a right turn. So you grip the steering wheel just a little harder than you would if you're driving straight. And then literally your muscles are turning the wheel. You're forcing the car to go where you want it to go. Otherwise, if you just press on the gas, the car's just going to move wherever it wants if you let go of the steering wheel. So what you just pointed out for us, Teresa, is very important. Dominating the record is super important. You can't be... It's like you want to be, I'll always say this to you guys, you want to be aggressive enough to control the record, but not overly aggressive to the point to where the cartridge is jumping all over the place, especially if you're using vinyl. Like it happened to Carmen. I know what you were about to do, and I was about to actually have an oh shit moment. Like she's about to go in, I already see where it's going, but then it skipped on you. So you got to be aware of like, all right, when you go back to practice, how much pressure was I putting on the record? And I have to amend that amount of pressure so that when I do the solo again, it's not skipping on me and I get to say exactly what I want. Any other things you guys want to point out? Yes.
I was gonna say Cheyenne used like around the and the fresh more than the guy. He just went back to the same spot and just played and scratched around that. But she was more experimental.
Oh, that was beautifully said. All right, so video one was monotonous. It was redundant, right? Video 2, featuring Cheyenne, there was more expressiveness in her scratches, and she had so much control of the record that if you guys were watching closely, she was going to different sounds and landing right on them. There was no, I mean, if she wanted fresh, she'd go to the fresh, track the mark, know where it was coming, stop the record where the fresh was, and go to her scratches. And then pull back to the ah and do the ah scratches. That's very important. That's something that you guys should definitely practice, going from the beep and then moving the record forward to the ah, and not hearing the whip back, only giving you the sound or giving yourself the sound going forward. But again, to emphasize the point that Aziza is making, the thing about Cheyenne that was awesome in that video was she was more expressive and articulated her scratches in a way that kept you interested. From the most simple release, she timed it at a spot in her solo that was like a crescendo almost. And she was following the instrumentation of the music. Be careful about becoming like a zombie and you're just moving the record back and forth and scratching. Always think lyrical, rhythmic. How can I speak with my hands? And that's exactly what Cheyenne did. She was literally talking to us with her scratches. And that's one of the things that really stand out for me. So dominating the record, and just now we just touched on being expressive. Let's do a couple more. Yes, Romy.
Yeah, I feel like Cheyenne was doing like a dot to dot, like with the bigger picture like in mind, whereas the other guy was just like dotting.
Oof, that was perfect. I'm stealing that.
That's
That was perfect. You're right. So Romy just nailed it. She really hit home the point of me showing you those videos just now. When you're scratching, guys, you need to think to yourself, like, what's my goal in these 4 bars? And in Cheyenne's case, it was more of a, it was a longer scratch solo. She went on probably for about a minute scratching. In Cheyenne's case, it was about, how can I take this amount of time and not just stay within the pocket of the beat, like not just scratch over the beat, but it's like there was a progression to her scratches. And you want to think, although probably the majority of you guys maybe never have played an instrument, but you listen to music. So figure out, what is it about a song, it could be any song that you like with regards to the instrumentation, the build-up. Whether you guys believe it or not, our bodies react to certain frequencies. So the thing about Cheyenne that was awesome was she understood just how to articulate a certain scratch to get us to react a certain way. And she knew when strategically to add contrast within her scratches. So she would rely a lot on some transformers, which about half the class is already doing. And I'm really happy to see that, because I haven't even taught transforming yet. I could tell you guys are watching me a lot when we Q&A. But the thing with Cheyenne is, like, she would do transformers, and then every now and then she would give you a wigget to add contrast. So it's like, to Romy's point, at least what I take away from what you just said is that, like, the contrast is helping you appreciate the technical parts of her solo. Whereas with the first video, my student John, he was just giving you speed pretty much the whole time. So that gets redundant and monotonous, and there's just not enough color there for you to feel the contrast. All this is about, like, taking the person that's listening to you scratch on a journey. So you want to be careful about just executing one scratch. That's why, like, Jane, you were like, can I just do the baby scratch while I'm practicing? You can, but practice being well-rounded. Practice other techniques that are uncomfortable right now for you, because during the final, you don't want to just sit up here and just do a baby scratch for your scratch solo during your 10-minute set. You want to figure out a way to incorporate the other scratches so that you're saying more. There it is. Good stuff, Jane. Good stuff. Good stuff. And your solo is more interesting. One more. Any other? Come on, one more comment. Yes, Sebastian.
With Cheyenne, her rhythm was on beat every time. With the other guy, it was a little more fluid. Just sort of danced around. Like every time Cheyenne would, like, say let go or do a forward release, it was like on the one. So it was more impactful.
More impactful. Cheyenne was more conscious of the music that she was scratching to. It wasn't just her scratching over a beat. So, like, let's say this is a beat and this is a scratches. What a lot of people do is they just kind of just scratch over the beat. She literally fused her scratches with the song. That she might as well have been in the studio and been another instrument on that track. Like, I really felt her scratches belonged over that beat. And that's what you want to think about when you're scratching to any beat that I play on. Don't just think technique and this is a transformer and this is a chirp. Think, what is the instrumentation of the song that Rob's playing, and how can I play off that track? That's very important. So let's jot that down. What was it that you said, Sebastian? Basically, the timing.
Yeah, made or like forward release and more impact.
Right. So timing is everything, man. Especially with scratching. Timing's everything. Would you guys ultimately want to try to achieve in your scratch solos is at least one oh shit moment. One oh shit moment of, oh shit, that was dope. And some of you guys are already giving me that. But I just feel, for example, Cole, if I'm scratching and it gets to you, scratch the full 4 bars. Don't scratch and then stop early, because it's like, you never know if that oh shit moment is coming a little later in your solo. So complete what it is that you want to say. You have, for the most part, every time we do this, you're going to have 4 bars to say what you want to say. So give yourself a chance in those 4 bars to finish what it is that you got to say. If it skips, it skips. Sometimes you can't control that, no matter how light you are. But don't purposely stop Don't purposely stop too early, because personally, I feel like, I just kind of got left hanging, because I'm trying to see where else you're going to take your scratches. Go the full 4 bars. And whether it's Cole or anyone, if you guys are confused about bar count and what 4 bars is, all you got to do is just listen to each other, and instinctively you're going to know, all right, I kind of know when to start. Rob always kind of gives me a look, and I have an idea from listening to how long everyone's solo is when to finish. I'd rather you guys go over and me just cut you off and then you know to stop, than you guys stop early. Don't stop early. But achieve or go for that oh shit moment in your scratch solos. Now, one last question that I want to ask you guys. I like this time around, right? When we soloed and we did our Q&A, was aside from my amazing scratches that I know everyone is jocking and loving, right? Was one, don't be shy if you feel that there was a student, let's say, that did a solo that like stood out to you. I'd like to know who that person is. Like, who would you say right now in this class is scratching in a way that has you like, fuck, I gotta get my cuts to sound swingy like that or that clean? It's Jane.
I thought Sebastian and Carmen were like pretty consistent.
Sebastian and Carmen. Even though it skipped on Carmen, you guys already heard Carmen enough to know she has that swag about her, right? I agree with you guys. And it's not to say that you guys don't all sound good. Everyone is sounding good. And there was a moment, and pretty much everyone said, where I was like, all right, I see where this person's style could evolve. I see where this person's technique could go if they keep practicing. But Sebastian and Carmen are the most expressive students with regards to scratching. Now, when you think about it, we all started, or you guys all started scratching the same exact day, right? And I'm pretty sure Sebastian doesn't have turntables at home. I'm pretty sure Carmen doesn't have turntables at home. So there's something about their mindset when they're scratching that's helping them. That's helping them communicate their scratches. And what I personally think that is, they don't fear what's coming out of the turntable. They're just going for it. They're just going for it and having fun while they're doing it. I feel that sometimes students who are new to this art, when they start scratching, they're just like super careful about moving because they don't want to make a mistake and they want to sound good. Sometimes you just got to let go. If you think about it, guys, this was an art that was created and developed by kids that were just like experimenting and finding themselves through this movement of the record back and forth. So I want you guys to like be more proactive about finding your voice as scratchers. Again, don't just limit yourself to, well, Rob just said practice to stab, so I'm just gonna go ip, 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 ip for like 4 minutes until he stops. fuck around with the stab. Like, before I even got to, which I'm gonna go over now for you guys, before I even got to the segment in the class where I wanted to talk about articulating the stab a certain way, Sebastian and Carmen were already articulating it in a way that was unique to them and how they rhythmically hear scratches being done. Whereas the majority of the class is more so just doing this right now. Like, it's a very generic, straightforward, all right, that's a stab. But do something with the stab. So try to be more fearless when you guys are up here, in class, on your stations, practicing. Get as expressive as you can and experiment, all right? And just try to discover your voice as DJs. Cheyenne started out just like you guys. I remember her issue was the fader. She could not control the fader at all. And it's funny to me that the student that had the hardest time controlling the fader at the beginning of the class, the day of the final, owned the fader the most. And like you guys said yourselves, she was just dominating the record, the fader, whatever she wanted to come out of the speaker, she made come out.